Hi. What am I gonna talk about today? This time, I'm on a computer. Oh my god, upgrade! Wow! Okay, um, this one's gonna be a little serious because this one is about me and about family. Family topic has never been easy for me because number one, families are never easy. Whether you're on top or the bottom, you're the middle or the whatever. Okay, what was I gonna talk about? Okay, I'm kidding. I've come to realize that everything about me is going to be forgotten. That everything that I've been through is just going to fade away. That nobody will ever care about me. Or, I mean, sorry. Did not mean to be edgy. Oops. Anyways, let me start in the beginning. You know, I'm saying this because number one, I want there to be some kind of compassion to the space I'm making. I want to make a little compassion space because because I love talking about things. I love talking about me, love talking about the things I love talking to people that love the things that love the things that I also like. So there's that. So I want to talk about this. When I was a kid, I discovered self-harm, and I did it when I was 10. I'm clean now. Well, occasionally, so there's that. And the problem is that when I discovered it, I did it because I never knew, I didn't know what self-harm was, but I did it, you know. I did it in a way that even though I didn't know what I was doing, I knew that I was doing it because I was sad and I wanted to find something to do to make the sadness go away. And I'm no expert, but a lot of people don't really want to die when they do something like that. Obviously, right? I'm I'm sure a lot of people who does that only wants to feel for the emotional pain that they feel. They want to feel something more, or they want to replace that emotional pain with physical pain, which is, I feel like that's what a lot of people do. Now, let me get back to myself. Always, always all on me. Yeah, you're gonna hear a lot about me. I like the shell wig. I'm so sorry. Anyways, I did it because I was sad. That I felt like I was growing up as the eldest sibling. I had responsibilities, and before I felt that I couldn't live up to those responsibilities, and that I thought that when I eventually grew up, I'd be met with a lot more. And spoiler alert, it is a lot more. But I'm still alive. But let me get back. When I was a kid, I did it because I did it. Because I felt sad, and like I felt like I wasn't enjoying I wasn't enjoying everything that other kids should be enjoying. I felt like I wasn't enjoying my life as I should be. But the thing is that I don't think there was ever a way for me to enjoy my life. I just had to enjoy my life. But still, something was missing. felt like I was going too fast in time. I think I was being introduced to to a lot of concepts that I really didn't care about at the time. And honestly, that I feel like that wouldn't really matter to me at the time. And when I grew up, I realized that now they matter to me. But at the time, I only really cared about school, sleep, friends, food, and what to do when I'm bored. And when I did these things and I was caught and found out, I was never met with, "Are you alright? Are you fine? Do you want someone to talk to?" It wasn't like that. It was different. Something that I don't feel like should have happened, but it did anyway. And it set me back for, I guess, a bit because I never really knew why it was like that. And that's why I'm making this video, because to 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 I guess document or to exist somewhere in the world. Whoa, to exist, because I'm not sure if things like that could. I'm not ever sure if I could write something about this. I want to, but when I write about some things that are too much, too long, too lengthy, I would usually just talk about it. I could turn this into writing form, I could. So, I would just do that later on. My back hurts. Anyways, so when I was found out that I was doing that, and this was the first instance, since I had multiple instances throughout my life. I haven't really lived that long, but anyways, this was the first instance. This first instance happened when I was 10, and when I was found out, I was met like I was shunned. Basically, they told me that I was doing a sin and that they were mad, that this and that and this and that. It was all. It's not the type of chore. I could understand that they were angry because they care. I understand that you would be angry if you cared, you know? If that was happening to your child, you would be alarmed. But it didn't seem like alarmedness. No, it seemed like it was anger. It was anger. And to me, uh, that felt really off-putting, or maybe just more than off-putting. That felt kind of traumatic, because I I don't ever feel like that's what you would do to help your child get through something like that, right? And so I stopped for a while. I thought about I thought about why it was happening to me. I just told myself they're mad, maybe did because they cared. I would understand that if someone were to do that multiple times over and over and they don't listen, it's a valid reason to be mad, to berate them, to be like, "Yo, why you keep doing this?" But that was the first time I did it, and the first time I was shunned. I was met with this. It was like fear mongering. Like, God does not want you to do that. I really didn't care about God. God is good. God respects me. God, I respect God. But please, I don't ever feel like you should drag God's name into something like that. For the poor parenting that it has that you have given me. So I stopped, and by the and so I started again, which was years after this first instance. And this is the second instance. I think I was 14, 15, or something like that. I started because I was very dissatisfied with the satisfaction of. No, sorry, what the hell am I saying? I was dissatisfied with the decision that I would be sharing rooms with my siblings, which I didn't want. Now I'm Bitdefender showing up. Wow. Why did I do it? Because number one, I wanted my own room. I wanted my own privacy. I wanted my silliness within me. Whatever. Anyways, I did it because it's not that I did it for some shallow reason. I really was sad at the time, but I don't feel like I need to explain that, right? People who do that, I don't ever pretend. I don't ever tell anyone, oh, did you know that I used to do this more than you? Used to do this more than you. I used to bleed more, I used to go deeper. I don't ever do that, just so we're clear. Wait, who am I talking to? Clear with who? Oh my god, I'm going crazy. I was schizophrenia. I'm kidding. Alright, let's go back. I did it again. Oh wait, now I remember why I did it. Okay. It wasn't just about a room. It wasn't just about privacy. It was about poor life choices. As family began to grow larger, there was another burden that was being added. Or wait, I feel like I worded that wrong. Nah, I wouldn't call it a burden because every children needs a family, every children needs a parent. But not every parent deserves a child. And so, growing burdens, I felt that as the eldest, I felt like there was more gonna be added to my plate. And I felt kind of sad. And I lamented over this. I commiserated over this for like a few weeks, and then I started. When I started, I was confronted again. I didn't want to do. I didn't want to. I didn't want to talk, so I didn't talk. And when I didn't talk, they took away everything I had: my gadgets, my pen and paper. All I had was myself. And so I was forced to talk. They forced me to talk, which I just said that I lied about why I did it. I just told them, I just told them that I would wanted, I was so sad that my PS4 broke, so I was so sad that I did that. I just lied to them about it. Because here's the thing. That first instance that happened when I was a kid changed me. It changed me in a way that now I know that uh, when I tell my family about this, that's the kind of reaction I would get. I would get berated, get thrown around, hear gospels about not doing what I'm doing, and apparently that I'm doing is a sin. And that reaction was ingrained into my head. So that's why I kind of lied about everything I've been doing. It was hard for me because I was forced to do everything just to make it seem that I was okay. Spoiler alert, even though I don't do it anymore, I just. I mean, I had a third instance, but that instance was never found out because I just used. Now I didn't do it on an obvious, easy to see part of my body. I just did it where nobody would ever see. But I did it because I was still sad. I wasn't. I was even though I wasn't doing it though. I never felt okay. This is not to be depressive, because people go through sadness all the time, and different people have different ways of coping. You could argue that overeating is a form of self-harm, because you're potentially harming your health and potentially ruining your diet if you have one, right? Or oversleeping or undersleeping or staying up late is a form of self-harm. And as much as I want to say that they're very bad, they are still ways of coping. So it's not just about cutting your skin, burning yourself, drowning in whateverness. There's some people that cope by being workaholics. They basically want to work, overwork, work on stuff, distract themselves. But distraction never, for me, distraction never always worked. It worked in a way that, oh, okay, but it doesn't really solve the problem. It's just a distraction. And I realized that too late, because I always relied on distractions to solve my problems, but they aren't solutions. They're just there, lingering. Anyways, enough about me. I'm making this video because of this point. Now that I'm very old, or I'm not very old, but now that I'm older enough to know this and to know all of these things that I'm talking about, another family member of mine did the same, although they were much younger than me, very very young, and they did the same thing. They self-harmed, but I felt sad, not because they were doing it too. Well, obviously you would be, so I don't need to mention that I would be sad because they did it too. I'd try to be supportive. I try to do everything I can to not let them do that. But yeah. Anyways, they did it. And their reaction, my family's reaction, was different. Although it was in a similar vein as how they how they reacted on my first instance of doing it. You know, the first instance of my self harm. They they were much more tame. They were much more this and that. They were much more, I would say, lenient. Still kind of scummy though, since they said that they're selfish. They told this younger family member that they were selfish, that they were not God fearing. Please as stop using God in your lectures, because God only ever comes up if it's something spiritual. Doing this to yourself is not too spiritual, so I wouldn't say that it's not that they're God. I would not say that they're not God fearing, and they're calling them selfish. And I'm just like, why would you? My internal reaction is that I don't ever say these things in front of them, because number one, I would get in trouble. I'd be homeless if I did. Why is my camera moving? Okay. If I did, I would die. Oh no, I'd be blown into a million pieces. Anyways, I'd be blown into a million pieces. My neck hurts. Anyways, let's get back. So I hope you're following. My younger family member does it, and then my other my the others the other family member says that they're selfish. I don't think you should ever tell someone that who's literally doing the act, because number one, even if how true it may be, you don't ever just say that to them. And they didn't say that, but they said it to me. And still, it does not constitute for you to say that, because if that's what you really think, you don't just say it like that. You don't just say it like, oh, this is selfish of them. And I say to that, in my mind, because I can never just, answer back, is that it's not about them not opening up. It's about them struggling with life, with this and that. And I felt jealous. Not jealous, but I felt this I felt this sadness in me. Sadness that they were doing it, sadness that they did it so young, and not in a place that you would normally do it. Because if you discovered self harm through the internet, you would do it on the wrist, the thigh, or anywhere else. But they did it somewhere that's not common, so I can't, I can't say that they got it online because because they did it in a very weird spot. Not in a in a weird spot and in a dangerous spot, which is like a very dangerous spot, honestly. So I could say that they really were going through stuff because they didn't discover it online. So and they had supervised internet access while I had unsupervised access, but that's besides the point. The point is that I as much as I wanted to help, they they berated them too, saying that they're selfish, they're sensitive. Also, number one, the younger generation is obviously going to be sensitive. Why? Because of the older generation. It's not their fault for being sensitive. It's not my fault for being sensitive. It's just how they were grown. They were beaten into this mold that some of them are not supposed to want, some of them are not supposed to be in. And that's the problem. Calling them selfish is just adding insult to injury. Calling them sensitive is just putting salt on the wound. And it's just and they did it for multiple instances, no matter how many times we tried to intervene. But luckily, they're fine. They're clean. They're cool. But I just can't help but say this: that for every time that they got caught, the reaction would be more tame. The reaction would be as you would expect for an actual and understanding adult. And I felt like I was I was never treated that way when I was confronted, and I wished I was treated that way in a way tamer than what was given to me. So I'm saying this because it's never an escape. What I did at the time was not because I wanted to escape, but because I wanted to feel something, because everything felt numb. I wanted to figure out what was wrong on with me, but I couldn't. So I resorted to that. And it was hard because I was it was like I was dealing with a younger version of me that was doing what I was doing when I was young. And I had to play my cards right because I didn't want to hurt them. I didn't want to be the reason why they would go get worse. I had to be careful because I didn't want them to just, well, they're fine. They're alive, they're healthy, they're clean. They just got a lot of problems with sleeping. So I guess there's that, as they like to oversleep. And then, yeah, I said all those things because I felt I felt like I was once like that, and to see that better treatment from the same people that treated me badly for doing the same thing, as if they had this development, which is, you could say it's fine that they're having development, but where was that when I was the one growing up? I never meant that. This is this is something that's been hard to talk about, to think about, because I felt like as the eldest, I was enduring things too. I I was going through things too. Look at me, guys. Look, oh my God, look at me. I was going through things too, not because I wanted attention, but because I felt like I needed that pat on the back, and I needed someone to say, "Hey, you alright?" And not that, not the type of people, not from strangers, not from online people, not from not from psychiatrists, therapists, not from those types of people, but from family. But I never had that. And so what made me compelled to make this video is because of that. So the video ends, and I shall read a poem. So I'll be right back. Okay, I don't think this is exactly a poem, but I know this is like a prose I made on April 17th. Let me read it. The bridges were clear to me. Pavements diverged into languid and jovial. When the winds kissed the dried leaves which lay surrendered, rustling of engines crossed me, and then my figure began to tire. Weariness placed movements, bestowing unto my sight the hopping of century-laden flowers and wise archaic tree roots. From that moment my eyes slid through many delectable passages, ladylike lush of what is ladylike lush of twigs and bushes, adventurous flora and fungus, which had already travailed the summit of birch branches. Upon looking now, the road extended without redirection. What is left? The path which was blizzard with sunlight. The gleams itself proved the bridge above mirrors like nature. Returning home, I now am apt that I have been blessed, that I have blessed the treasures outdoors with mine admiration. You could, I made like a little, I made like a little flower there. I hope you liked the video.